Prince, throughout his career, embraced both sexuality and spirituality. Religious exploration and lustful sentiment were all seen as very much part of the human condition. We have many parts of our being that make up the whole soul. Prince, despite some people's misconceptions, was actually one of the great creators of remarkable spiritual songs which have the power to connect with us all in varying ways. Here today, in this first instalment, we look at some of his very best tracks which explore Prince's religious journey. One of my first memories of hearing this stunning track was when Prince used it to divide the more carnal, explicit first half of the Love Sexy tours and the more uplifting, celebratory, spiritual second half. The lone voice accompanied by just a stark keyboard pulse is arguably the most revealing and transformative exploration of the soul an artist has ever created. The lyrics create a haunting, isolated atmosphere. Have you ever been so lonely that you felt like you were the only one in this world? Have you ever wanted to play with someone so much you'd take anyone, boy or girl? Prince's initial meeting with Ingrid Chavez is recalled. We could live for a little while, if you could just learn to smile. You and I could fly away. Fly away. Prince urges Anastasia to come to him, talk to him and ravish him. But then, arguably my favourite Prince lyric of all time. Maybe I could learn to love if I was just closer to something, closer to your higher self, I don't know, closer to heaven, maybe closer to God. Prince is pleading, begging, working out his own personal religious connection with God, seeking answers but unsure, open, vulnerable and yearning. Prince soon reaches his soulful epiphany and accepts Jesus as his ruler and proclaims his dedication to be quick and strong and tell his story no matter how long. The track builds and swirls and is a true snapshot of a man nakedly exploring the biggest question of all time. God is alive. This is not a game. This amazing track, it seems, was so frustratingly close to being released on Graffiti Bridge, and then Rave Unto the Joy Fantastic, but sadly it just managed to slip through the net. Prince and Mavis Staples, the legendary soul singer, who is to this day a force to be reckoned with, combined to wrap funk, praise and passion together. Prince's earth-rumbling, bass-shifted voice declaring God is alive shudders right through you, and the flexing, metallic, dead drum programming interwoven with a striking falsetto is pure nectar to the ears. News is coming like a hurricane, coming down hard on those who live in vain, treating each other funky when you know we're all just the same. God is alive, and this is not a game. Prince drops his voice to his baritone speaking voice and imparts the last few words. This is not a game, with a true sincerity. A growling, searing, stalking guitar solo leads into a true vocal masterclass. I cannot say enough about the amazing backing vocals, and if you ever want proof of Mavis Staples' remarkable talent, as if you need it, listen to the section from 4 minutes 30 onwards, culminating in an explosive, gospel-on-fire declaration of belief and confidence, a vocal performance that hits the stratosphere. Prince's guitar duels Mavis all the way, and the two compete for your undivided attention. Prince was a huge admirer of Mavis, and their joint forces create a powerful track. The Cross, which as many in the Prince community will know was also in later years performed as The Christ when Prince became a Jehovah's Witness and believed in the Staros, is at heart a song of two distinct halves. The first half opens with a quiet, subdued, humble strumming guitar and Prince's baritone vocals almost piercing through the darkness of the night. Black day, stormy night, no love, no hope in sight. Don't cry, he is coming. Don't die without knowing the cross. Prince acknowledges we all have our problems, big or small, but soon these will all be taken by the cross. The track then explodes into a full-out concert stadium rocker with a foot-stamping beat, wailing guitar and Prince pushing his vocal to the limit. Suddenly the tragic, mournful reflection upon hungry, pregnant mothers soars into a hopeful, triumphant declaration of a better world to come, a joy in the hope of salvation, the lifting of existential burdens upon us all. The live performance captured on the Sign of the Times tour concert video is a sight to behold and a fitting closing track to this amazing set. There is something truly universal in Prince's lyrics, irrespective of whether one's religious or not, because it's ultimately a song of hope, of redemption, of a time where we can be free of pain and heartache. As with so much of the Sign of the Times era, it deserves its classic status. Died for the tears in your eyes, your eyes. Originally donated by Prince to the We Are the World charity effort, Prince had suffered a press backlash for not appearing with many other celebrities for the title track recording, but chose to make this sincere contribution instead. One of Prince's most overtly religious tracks, it is simple and poignant in its structure, with Prince simply strumming an acoustic guitar with minimal support from the Revolution. Wendy and Lisa provide a harmonious backing vocal, and Prince clearly feels the song deeply. The emotive black and white video released of a slightly different recording is one of Prince's most intimate performances, with Prince simply looking at the camera in the last few seconds and saying thank you. The lyrics are clear and based deeply in biblical scripture. Long ago there was a man, changed stone to bread with the touch of his hand, made the blind see and the dumb understand. He died for the tears in your eyes. Prince reminds us that the meek shall inherit the earth, and that faith is a word we should all try. Sometimes less is definitely more, and there is something certainly melancholic and moving about the way Wendy and Lisa's vocals intertwine back and forth with Prince's vocal, which is full of effort, meaning and power.
Was like thunder.
A Prince one-man production, Thunder roars out of the gate on the Diamonds and Pearls album like, well, thunder. Described by a critic at the time as a gothic religio house track, Prince's quiet voice booms out a cappella, and then an electric, whirring, bass grumbling keyboard motif ferocity of a track powers in. Prince is visited in the night and is transformed. Thunder, all through the night, promise to see Jesus in the morning light. Take my hand, it'll be alright. Come and save your soul tonight. Never a truer word spoken than when Prince states that love first came to him with the radio on. Listen to the exquisite section at 2 minutes 18 when Prince pleads, "Make me holler." The crescendoing waves that fall throughout this track build up the song until it can no longer contain itself and burst its banks at around 3 minutes 40 when Prince's vocal is pushed to its absolute limit. The striding, soaring guitar takes off like a wailing firework strapped to a rocket. This is perfection overload. Never has the quest for spiritual awakening sounded so good. Like rain falling on a window pane, tears came to my eyes when I asked her name. Make me holler when it finally came, said only the children born of me will remain. It's almost frightening in its intensity and complicated and intricately produced layers, but Prince reassures us. Love said, take my hand, it'll be alright. Come on, save your soul tonight. Originally stemming from a track entitled The Ball, this is a multi-layered, intoxicating track in which Prince reaffirms his loyalty to a higher power and his awareness of the battle of the soul. Recorded, fittingly, the same day as the track Positivity, this track is musically complicated and there's a huge amount going on in the foreground and the background. Marking the debut of Ingrid Chavez with her iconic opening, it begins, "Rain is wet and sugar is sweet. Clap your hands and stomp your feet. Everybody knows that when love calls, you've got to go." Prince declares from the very start, "I know there is a heaven, I know there is a hell. Listen to me, people, I got a story to tell. I know there was confusion, lightning all around me. That's when I called his name, don't you know he found me." Spooky Electric had tested Prince's belief in Lovesexy, but no more. No, is what Spooky Electric say, it's not okay, but I know love is the only way, till my dying day. Prince essentially details being caught up in the maelstrom of parting with friends and straying from his more spiritual side. "I know there is a devil, because he talks so loud. He makes you do the things your friends do, hang out with the crowd. But my Lord, he is so quiet when he calls your name. When you hear it, your heart will thunder. You will want to hear it every day." Prince shuns drugs, other than the God above, drink, and also urges us to blow that devil away. The entire Lovesexy project is imbued with spiritual significance, the battle between good and evil, the yearning desire for something more satisfying than the everyday world, and Prince has rarely been more evangelical than he is here.
And proud to call his name, Jesus, Jesus.
The Emancipation era found Prince at a fascinating time in his life when he was looking forward to a very different way of being in many ways. Sadly, tragedy robbed him of some of those precious gifts, but he spent time reflecting upon his life and love, and the Holy River is an emotionally open story of both his love for Maite and God. People rarely give Prince the credit for his emotional honesty and vulnerability. You can try and try, but there's nothing to hide. You can't run from yourself and what's inside. You've got to find the answers to the questions that you most fear. Prince admits he's been spending his time with all the wrong faces and all the wrong places, putting his faith in things that only made him cry, and he woundingly reveals the self-analysis, have another glass of port and forget this. Prince needs more. Relationships based on the physical are over and done. This is a man lost in a haze of sex and fame, someone searching for some deeper underlying surety, some rock on which to base his tether to the world. It then hits him like a fist on a wall. The revelation, the realization, the epitome of who gave him life. If you ask God to love you longer, every breath you take will make you stronger, keeping you happy and proud to call his name, Jesus. In lines very reminiscent of When Doves Cry, Prince questions why he's been thrown down to a world so cold. But the Holy River provides a solace that will deliver us, but if we don't face it, we will come back and face the light. This is a story song like some of Prince's best tracks such as Raspberry Beret and I Can Never Take the Place of Your Man, and Prince is ultimately spurred on to propose to his girl who accepts. The track ends with a real feeling of resolution, a freeing sense of a new day emerging, a new sensibility, something has been resolved and the world is suddenly a little less heavy.